Before, During and After the Wedding is a book by family legacy builder Ntshole Keneilwe Mabapa. Keneilwe's company, Solid Rock Institute, helps people with succession plans for their families and businesses. She joins us now in studio to tell us more about this. And let's also celebrate the fact that this month, the 5th of August, you've just become an attorney. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Goodness me. Okay, so we've got to get to the bottom of this because this is there's a lot discussed in all of this. Where did the idea come from? I mean, when you talk about a book like this, before, during, and after the wedding?
Well, it actually came quite by chance. I was doing research on another case, entirely different case, and I came across this case called Ntshole versus Ntshole.
Yeah.
Where not two women, but 5 women went to court. This man had married 5 women, 4 of them traditionally and 1 through civil rights. And they had to go to court after his death to have the court declare one of them the legal wife. Okay. So reading the case, it really tore my heart apart because, when your husband has passed on, that's the time for you to mourn for him. But in this case, they didn't have an opportunity to mourn. They had to go to court and ask the court to declare one of them not a wife.
Yeah.
Okay, so what really tore my heart apart was when at the end, the court decided that the civil law wife was not a wife at all. So imagine spending so much time with someone and then you really find out at the end that you were never really a wife as far as the law is concerned. So having read that, I went and looked at other cases and I realized that actually there's quite a lot of people who think they're married when in actual fact they are not.
They're not, and they're living under false pretenses.
Yes,
yeah.
and they don't know. Just as much as there are people who think they're not married, but in actual fact they are married because of law changes through the years.
I mean, when we talk about a lot of people, how common is this?
It's actually quite common, but the only time that people find out about this is when their spouse has passed on. Normally it's women who find out after the man has passed on. Okay, because what happened is that as of the 1st of November 2000, there's a new law that came into place. Black people will normally get married in terms of customary law, and then later we get married in terms of civil law.
Yes.
Now, in the past, the customary marriage was subservient to civil marriage, with the result that if a man marries me, for instance, through customary law, and later feels he no longer wants me, then meets you, marries you in terms of civil law, then you would, if he dies, you would be regarded as the wife, and I would be out in the street.
Yeah.
But since the 1st of November 2000, what is really a determining factor is who got married first. Because customary law is now recognized as a marriage in South Africa.
Yes.
So if a person marries someone through customary rights, that marriage is legal and it's a marriage in community of property unless they sign an antenuptial contract. And that's something that people don't know. They still think that, I'm married in terms of customary law. I'm not really married. The only time that I would be married would be if I go and enter into a civil marriage. I
must tell you, I mean, I think that this book is a must for any woman that goes into a marriage, and a man as well, because I mean, you need to know, it's actually unbelievable. And I like in the introduction of the book where, and this is really what you do is, when you're getting married, you're so worried about the dress, the invitations, the guest list, the venue, going for dancing lessons, and making sure that you look like $1 million bucks on the day, the honeymoon, the vows, the ceremony. And then that day comes to an end and the reality sets in. And if you don't actually know what you're in for, you're in big trouble. I mean, because marriage is, it's a lot of hard work. It's a lot of hard work. And at the end of the day, when you're having children, you've got customary marriages, civil marriages, you've got all of these things. This is something that I'm sure you encounter every day, particularly being, what section of law are you in right now?
Okay, I am actually interested in family law,
so
business law, and more recently, since I'm an author, intellectual property law.
Brilliant. And I see that you bring up a lot of cases in this. I mean,
Yes.
just one foster and foster getting married 5th of November in community of property. The husband had a 30% interest in a company worth 3.8 million, which interest formed part of their estate. And you give examples of
Yes.
different cases that have been encountered that have set the boundaries for the laws here in
Yes.
South Africa.
Yeah.
But do women know their rights and their laws going into a marriage?
No.
Yeah.
It's the same, even men don't. Okay, the only challenge is that the people who find themselves having problems are women, because I think men die faster than women. So the women normally have...
If only you could hear my technical director in my ear just said to me, they die faster because us women kill them with all the stress that we give them.
No.
I beg to differ. I beg to differ. Anyway, carry on.
Okay. Actually, it affects everyone. I've talked to men and women. I've actually, before writing the book, I spoke to over 1,000 people through seminars and presentations. And what came through for me was that both men and women did not have an idea what they were getting themselves into. Those who were married did not have a clue as to what are their rights and responsibilities in the marriage. So at the end of the day, it affects everybody. It's just that the cases that I'm referring to, and most of the cases are cases that women have taken to court.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's hardly any, very few cases where men have had to go to court to determine their rights.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm anticipating that it will soon come.
Good.
Yep.
You know, we talk about, let's just talk about the basics. I mean, when you do get married, you either get married in community or out of community of property.
Yes.
Talk to us about the differences of those two.
Okay.
For people that actually don't even understand them, because I'm sure a lot of people don't.
Yes, people don't. If you get married in community of property, it basically means that everything that the two of you owned before you got married becomes yours jointly.
Yeah.
Everything that you acquire during your marriage becomes yours jointly.
Yes.
Both the assets and the liabilities. For instance, if I were to get married in community of property, let's say I have a house worth R1 million, I get married to James or Jack, and he has debts worth 3 million. The minute we are declared husband and wife, those debts are mine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am responsible also for paying off the debts.
Yeah. All right. So those are the two differences. I mean,
And so I have not come into out of community of property. There's actually 3, but the most known ones are 2. When you're married out of community of property, what you own before marriage remains yours.
Yes.
Okay. And what you own after the marriage becomes it remains individual.
You act as two separate
as two separate entities.
Okay.
Yes.
So you walk out of the marriage with what you've made in it.
That's another type. That's one type. Okay. There's marriage out of community of property with accrual.
There you go.
And there's marriage out of community of property excluding accrual.
Okay.
So if you're married in terms of it's marriage out of community of property excluding accrual, you walk out the same way as you came in.
Yes.
with nothing. Sorry, maybe if you came with nothing, you walk out with nothing.
Yes.
If you came with something, you walk out with that something. If you acquired whatever you acquired within the marriage, you walk out with it. You don't get to share at all. And with accrual, it's a bit different. It used to be when courts looked at the after effects of marriage out of community of property, because accrual just came in recently. They realized that women suffered a lot.
Yeah.
Because if you get into a marriage, you become a housewife, you don't earn an income. The husband is the one who earns the income. So when you have to get out of the marriage, then it's the husband who walks out with the property and you walk out with nothing. So accrual came in to make sure that people at least get something out of the marriage. During the marriage, you are entirely separate entities. But at the end of the marriage, what then happens is that they will look at who acquired more than the other, whose estate is much higher, is richer or higher. And then if, say for instance, my estate is like 400,000 and my husband's estate is like 1 million.
Yeah.
So they will deduct the 400,000 from the 1 million.
Okay.
And
okay.
then the difference we get to share. So we work out equal
yes.
out of the marriage. So that's like almost better.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's an advisable route to take.
Yeah.
Just quickly, because we're running out of time. I mean,
Yes.
we could carry on. We could carry on the whole day. I think so many people
Okay.
are enjoying this.
Okay.
Cohabitation. You know, that's one of those issues that I think has still got it's a bit of a grey area where they say that if you've been living together, and a lot of people do in this day and age. I don't know some people say they don't believe in marriage. They don't want to get married anymore because it comes with too many issues.
Yeah.
That's just how some people think. And they live together for long periods of time. There is a belief that if you've been together for 6 months, it's almost like you are married. But I'm not sure if that applies here in South Africa. How long must you be living with somebody to actually understand that you know, everything is shared, or does that rule not work here in South Africa?
It doesn't matter how long you've stayed with someone.
Yeah.
Whether you've stayed with them 6 months or 21 years, if you're not married, you're not married.
Okay.
And cohabitation is not recognized as a marriage in law. Okay. So I'm also explaining a few cases in the book that show, for instance, there's this woman who stayed with a man for over 18 years.
Yeah.
And after 18 years, he passed away. She wanted to claim maintenance from his estate.
And got
but
nothing.
the court said,
There's
you can't.
no legal right to
You
it.
had the option to get married. You chose not to get married, so you cannot ask for benefits that a married person gets. That's what the court said.
And that brings into gay marriages as well. And I think that was maybe one of the reasons in South Africa where they were legalized, is that you actually could. I mean, you've been together for so many years that you actually are able to share in the benefits of being a married couple.
Remember, an exception was made for same-sex couples because of the fact that the law did not allow them to get married. But now there is a law that allows them to get married, the Civil Union Act. So same-sex couples are allowed to get married now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Am I allowed one last question? Ken? No. Yes or no? Someone tell me. No. Yes.
Okay.
Customary marriage. We started off by talking about that. You know, in South Africa, things are very different. It's not black and white. It's not that law. You go into court, you sign a paper. There's customary marriages, and it becomes very, very difficult. And also taking on more than one partner, which we began speaking about. That, I imagine, is something that needs a lot of attention on.
Yes, it basically needs a lot of attention. Like I was saying earlier, that a lot of people think that they are not married.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, as far as the law is concerned, they are married. If you're married customarily and you fulfill all the requirements of customary marriage, you are married in community of property.
Yeah.
So if you are entering into a marriage, a community of property marriage, a customary marriage, then it is advisable for you, if you don't want to be married in community of property, to enter into an anti-nuptial contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where do we get this book?
This book, 3 options. You get it from me.
Yeah.
Okay. We have also entered into an agreement with a publishing company to get it into books.
Fantastic.
From September, it will be available from Bargain Books.
Brilliant.
I think people can already go to Bargain Books and make orders.
Okay.
So that they can get it. The third option, we're also looking for distributors. If anybody is interested to distribute the book, they can contact me to distribute the book.
How do we, sorry, quickly, your contact details?
076
Yeah.
884 1842.
Excellent. All right, there you go. I think it's a fantastic book. It's a must-have. Before, during, and after the wedding. Understand the legal implications for you and your family. Keneilwe Mabapa writing this book, talking to us here on the program. Got to wrap, got to say goodbye. Thank you so much. Palesa, over to you to say goodbye as well.